This is the plaintiff, Tajarell Stewart. He says he and the defendant were together for a bit, and he loaned her money so her lights wouldn't get turned off. And he also paid for a trip to Pennsylvania for them. When he asked for his money, she immediately blocked him on everything. And if she thinks she can get away without paying him back, she is sorely mistaken. He's suing for $500 for all he's out. This is the defendant, Tamia Jones. She says she dated the plaintiff for about a year, but when things fizzled out, he started acting all crazy about money he'd spent on her during their relationship and said she'd be going to jail if she didn't give him money. Some people. She's accused of leaving an ex high and dry.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case in the docket, the plaintiff says he loaned the defendant money while they were together, and now that they're not, she will not pay him back. But the defendant says she dated the plaintiff for about a year, and when their relationship fizzled out, he got all crazy about the money he spent while they were together. It's the case of, give me my money, honey.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome.
Mr. Stewart, you are suing your former friend/squeeze, Ms. Jones, for $500 that you say she owes you, $300 of it money you loaned her to pay an electric bill, and $200 of it money she owes you for a trip. How did you guys know each other?
We knew each other because we used to talk. We was old friends. We met a few months ago. We just used to hang out and stuff like that.
All right. When you say you were old friends, did you know each other more than a few months ago? And then you reconnected?
Yeah, I mean, a year. And I knew her for a year total, a year and a couple months.
So what happened? How do you come about to loan her money? How does that happen?
After we finished our trip,
before the trip. Tell me about the trip, because that's part of the money you're suing for.
The trip was like a trip to Pennsylvania just to hang out in an Airbnb and stuff like that.
On New Year's Eve?
Yeah.
Okay, go on.
And then after the trip, she had asked me for $300. Well, she asked me for money to.
But before the
pay
trip, did she have any money to go on the trip?
No, so I paid for everything already.
Wait,
so
did
I didn't
she
mind.
tell you I don't have money to go on the trip?
Yeah, she told me she didn't have money.
And what
I
did
didn't
you
mind.
say
I
to
paid
her?
for everything. I said it's all right. That's why I didn't mind. Initially, but the $200 wasn't even a part of me. I wasn't even really thinking about it. I just
So you just
I told her
spent
she
the
could
money?
come. Yeah.
Okay, so what you really think she owes you is the money for the electric bill.
That she asked me and I paid her the $300.
Okay, what did she ask you for the money for? Exactly what she say it was for?
She said I needed to pay a light bill or some sort of bill, and I said, all right, I could give you $300.
Okay, did you tell her that she would have to pay you back?
Yes.
And what did she say?
She said, all right, I don't mind.
And then did she tell you when she would pay you back? Or how she would pay you back?
She told me in the end of February because she had some type of lawsuit that she got when she was a child, and I assumed that considering that when majority of the times we chilled, she mostly had money, so I assumed she was good for it because she said she had some type of
Ms.
lawsuit
Jones,
when she was a child.
did you borrow money from him to pay a light bill?
It was for cable.
Okay, so did you borrow money from him to pay for cable?
Yes.
How much money?
He sent me $300 on Zelle. Then he told me I would do a night in jail if I didn't receive any money. Texting me from numbers. He's always making fake pages to write me. This could have been avoided if I would have left him alone the first time. He's always coming back around, bothering me, writing me from fake pages. It's always bothering me.
It also could have been avoided if you paid back the loan.
The plaintiff can't seem to get the defendant to give him back the money he loaned her while they were together, so he's taken her to court. Now, the defendant says the plaintiff is full of hot air and threatened to get her thrown in jail over money he spent on her while they were dating. Let's listen.
According to you, you owe him the $300, right?
Yeah.
So why didn't you pay him back?
And then he charged me for coming out. He invited me and my friend to go out for New Year's.
And then told you he wanted that $200 as well?
The people, he invited me out, and then he's charging me for coming out.
Okay.
The people that had already came, that was supposed to come, they had got sick from COVID. So he said me and my friend could come.
Okay.
So, yeah.
All right, so I understand that you don't feel like you owe him the $200. I don't even think he thinks you owe him the $200. But what about the money for the cable bill?
Yeah, I was supposed to pay him back.
Okay, and when were you supposed to pay him back?
I wasn't working, so I told him that whenever I came up with the money, I would pay him back.
Do you have a lawsuit involving something from when you were a child pending?
Yes.
How would he know that unless you told him that as part of your promise to pay back?
No, I told him that before. Like, I don't tell people that. I told him that, and he shared that on here, but...
Okay, so now it's May, though, and you still haven't paid him a penny of the money. When do you say you were supposed to pay the money back?
The end of February.
Well, aren't we past February?
Yeah.
Okay, so what's your defense? Because I'm sifting and I'm having trouble seeing it. What's your defense to the $300?
Welcome back to the People's Court. The question, did the plaintiff actually loan the defendant money, or is this one of those things where money goes back and forth while people are dating? Let's go back into the courtroom and find out.
He's disrespectful, like very disrespectful. He's always writing me from fake pages. We had a fallout before, and then he came back around. I gave him multiple chances. Like, I'm just done. I'm done.
That's how you decided you were going to keep his $300? If you're really done, pay him back his $300. Then you wouldn't have to see him today. Well, yeah. This is wrapped up with a nice bow and packaging.
Can I say one thing?
Sure. I live for the moment. Tell me.
So initially the $500, I didn't ask her to pay for the trip. I just said, because she said she had a lawsuit, so I was like, all right, since I'm giving you $300, why not you just I tack on the $200 for the trip?
Well, one reason would be because we have usury laws that don't allow you to be a loan shark. That's one reason, but go ahead.
All right. No, you're right. No, but that's it.
Oh, God, folks, go away. $300 verdict for the plaintiff.
All right, Ms. Jones, you've been in court. You got to pay him the $300. That's the law now. How about that? What are you thinking?
Okay. I just want this to be over.
I assume you said you're finished with him. If he comes around again, are you going to just ignore him?
No,
not pay attention to
this
him?
is a wrap. He's always making fake pages. I really want him to leave me alone. I never want to talk to him ever again in life. So please, just leave me alone. This is done. Have a good life.
I got it. Mr. Stewart, she said it's a wrap. That's showbiz talk there. How about that? What are you thinking?
Well, I never really hit her up. It was never really no serious relationship between us. We was just friends. We did a couple stuff together. It was never that serious. She's just making all this extra stuff up because she wants a reason for me to look some type of way because I'm suing her for the money.
All righty. Well, listen, you filed the lawsuit. You did the right thing, and you're going to get the $300 from her, and that'll do it. I think she doesn't want to see you anymore, and I don't think you're worried about that either, are you? Right?
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. All right. That's the end of a relationship, folks. Harvey, what are your thoughts?
You know, Judge Million, Doug, has always talked about she is not going to be the one to kind of settle who gets the pots and pans when a relationship ends. The fact is that things get murky when people are together for a long time, and money goes back and forth, and nobody clearly says this is a loan, this is a gift. And in the end, it's really hard to evaluate that other than this is what happens in a relationship, and you can't sue to go back in time.
My wife and I went to dinner and gave our coats to the coat check room. After dinner, when we gave them the ticket, we only got one coat back. The lost coat was $300. Can I sue?
I guess the short answer is yes, you could sue. I mean, the first thing you're going to do is try to get them to reimburse you, or they'll probably offer you some credit at the restaurant.
Free dinners, because that costs them less.
Right, but there are other variables here that you have to consider. When you give somebody your coat like that, that's called a bailment, and they have an obligation to use reasonable care and not be negligent in returning it to you. But coat check rooms typically have signs there that say we're not responsible for lost items. Some don't. And others have little fine print on the back of a ticket that they give you when you drop off your coat.
Which you never read,
Nobody
and you don't even see until after you've given your coat.
And they're probably not going to be able to block their liability based on a little tiny ticket with fine print on it. But they might get some relief from a very obvious and conspicuous sign that says we're not responsible for lost items. But there are also jurisdictions, cities, states, counties that have statutes that can limit liability for restaurants, hotels, clubs that don't charge you for holding onto your coat. It's not a for-profit thing. Hey, you want to put your coat here?
It kind of is, though, isn't it? And I know you're right with what you just said, but I marvel at that, because the truth is that your coat check is one of the reasons I go to my restaurant, so I don't have to keep my coat on during dinner.
Or drape it over your chair.
And you are getting the benefit of me going to your restaurant.
Yeah.
So, but I wonder if they're disputing whether there were 2 coats or 1 coat. Because most places, if they acknowledge that they've lost something,
Problem is, coats look alike, too. Somebody else could have taken the coat thinking it was their coat, or the person who's handing it out got mixed up somehow.
This is when it's time to pull out the recorders that restaurants have everywhere and try to figure out how many coats were handed in.
Check the video.
Check the video.
Right. But, here's another tip. Don't coat check your $2,000 buffalo hide coat or whatever the hell you're wearing at the restaurant. If it's just a windbreaker.
I've actually been told at a restaurant, no, you may not bring your coat to the table. We don't like how that looks.
Ah, about that.
And I'm like, well, I'm cold. I'm from Miami, and I'm keeping my coat, or I'm eating elsewhere, you know?
That's going to do it for us now, and we will see you for the next session of the People's Court.